Alright, so welcome to Russell Acres. Picked up today, 150 bucks. Got a true manual. You see the detented shifter actually going into gears there. Versus our very drive over here, which I thought was a true manual. But when you pull this one back, it actually just puts more pressure on the CVT in the front. And or not in the front, in the middle. That's how you go faster. So this chassis used to have a true manual in it as well, but Zach blew it up. And then this one's got a little whoop-de-doo deal with a little bit of a pressure plate and a wheel back there. It's just not meant for racing, but it's fun to putz around the yard. So we gotta figure out what combination of what we're gonna do here. But for right now, I'm gonna get this power washed off and take it apart. So in taking the battery box out, this is actually a nice little trunk here for a battery with covers. So whatever chassis we end up using, I'm definitely keeping this. That's pretty handy. I like that. All right, we got it stripped down, engine out, nice and cleaned up. Pulled just the whole wiring harness out. Probably won't even use that since we're not using that engine. It's got blown head gasket. So steering's a little wobbly. So we knew that was going to be the big challenge. This guy over here got a similar issue, so I don't know if we're gonna try to custom fabric cobble something, and this is all off right now, but this one's a little loose as well. So I think we're gonna have to custom fabric cobble something there, but I'm thinking I wanna use this chassis in that drivetrain. So certainly gonna be some fabric cobble in the future, but that's it for now. Just diving into all the different steering mechanisms here. This is the central park that we got from Zach. And you can see the weeble wobble of the actual, bushings there. So that may be salvageable, but we gotta see. But this one's a little stronger. Let's look at the other ones. So here is similar setup, but we're going at a 90-degree angle. This is pretty clapped out. I mean, this is not together. But I don't see myself using this one because this is pretty weeble wobbly and that's pretty clapped out. And I don't really see how we're gonna fix that one up. And then here, there's just a lot of play. And a lot of it does end up being in the actual, I think that's called a pitman arm. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can see how much that moves before the actual wheel moves. So I think the best thing to do is just get them all side by side and start making some decisions. Quick tour of the horsepower factory here. This is the 16.5 horse we just pulled out of the Craftsman out there. And she's got a blown head gasket, so definitely be tearing that down. This was in the free snapper that we got. You may be able to see her in there, but there's a bit of a window. You don't want to be able to stick your finger inside your engine block. That's not good. So clearly that one's just sitting there for parts. This one runs amazing. This is out of the MTD we picked up last week. Just a 12.5 horse, but it runs great. Thinking about putting some aftermarket parts on this bad boy, but the main mower we're focused on is the 17.5 horse that we got from Buddy Connor. And this apparently has a bunch of new parts in it, but it's got oil in the water, so we're going to do a deep dive and try to get this thing running. But I think what I'm going to do is tear this guy down first and see what's wrong with it so I can learn the do's and the don'ts about tearing down an engine. Then we'll get into that guy and see how that goes. So also what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little test bench setup so I can just start it. I figured out the wiring diagram is pretty simple for a mower. You pretty much just yank all the safety electrical out and just wire it right to the switch. So when you go to off, that's basically just giving your ground to the switch, and that kills your engine. So yeah, quite a bit to do here, but I think for the evening we're just going to clean up this mess of a garage and get the bad boys in here. So hell yeah, brother. Folk, you want to say hi? We're just turning the lights on. Got these lights from Harbor Freight. They really light up the room. Getting a little dark out, so let's do a quick comparison of our 3 chassis we got here. So again, I think this is the most salvageable steering we have. It's definitely the simplest clutch. It's just one pulley that moves in and out. And this is a real strong chassis. Back then they made them a lot thicker gauge than they do now. So that's what I'm thinking. But this chassis kind of has the best layout. It's kind of the lowest out of the three, and that one doesn't have a transaxle, so it's hard to tell, but I think for racing, this is going to be the best. We can do some really cool stuff with this front steering rack, I guess you call that, but it just articulates back and forth. And from learning from our masters at OK Off-Road Mowers, there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do. So I really want to use this chassis. The only issue is it's got probably the most complicated clutch setup. So you're just moving that CVT back and forth. But I think once we get it all gutted, it may end up being one of the better ones. It just has the worst steering, but again, we got to fabric cobble something for that. I really don't want to use this one. It's kind of flimsy. It's not the strongest frame out of the three, and I really want to brace that transaxle the best I can so we can not risk it blowing up. This one's got a bit of a weird clutch mechanism. It's actually one with a pulley. So there's a lot of tension there, and it would all have to get moved back because when you fully engage the clutch out, the pulley we want to use is bigger than the stock one. I think we'd end up hitting that. So I'm kind of out on this chassis. Probably going to use the seat. It's a nice seat, but we're definitely just going to use just the transaxle off this guy. So that's the main piece of the puzzle that we wanted there. Since Zach decided to blow up the old Central Park one there, so a lot of stuff to do. I think what I'm gonna do is start getting this up in the air, get the transaxle out and add underneath that one, and go from there. But for tonight, that's about it. So hell yeah, brother. See you in the next video.